knock. Hey, boy, feeling pretty good. I gotta watch out because I know I got men. Sometimes there's some lower, devils around. We say devils and shit sometimes. No matter what color he is or whatever you want to call it. If you vibrate on a certain frequency, you're on that frequency. So, they be coming out, the sky's out, like I'm a thighs out, so I gotta be careful. Yeah. But yeah, we on the other end, we ain't 20-something years old, man, no more, man. You know what I mean? I know you're like, hey, you ain't 20-something years old. Nah, I ain't 20-something years old, man. Most prophets that done raised children too, you know what I'm saying? Raised a child. I gotta fix myself up. I done raised children that were mine, and reared children that were mine and not mine, you know what I'm saying? So it's more than just telling them, what to do, and, just because it seems like the right thing to do and shit. Nah, Plus with the influences of growing up and having certain, parental figures, you just know how to draw for them. So yeah, we'll jump into it, man. You see the FBA. One time for the Cabbage Patch, y'all. So yeah, man. The FBA. Everybody's kind of going against bro Tyreek, man. I don't really know Tyreek, and I know we all got this cluster B personality within our culture, which is cool because we're going to show the world how to, handle that. However, though, I don't know why everybody's like against Tyreek too much for it. You know what I mean? I think bro came out with a lot of the Hidden Color movies, and that was all right. So we back. So we got thugs pulling up, Starfleet. When I say the thugs, we're talking about the birds. But yeah, man, and everybody's going against little Tyreek, and he probably mean well unless he got a check from somebody. That's what I want to see, because Muslim been through a lot of shit, and when you got like narcissistic personality, that you kind of like, hesitate on trusting another mug. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the differences between the FBA and the NINJI with brother Dan Calloway and a few other people, because, nobody don't want to be misled in the wrong direction anymore. Don't want to be considered like an 85%er, like someone's easily led in the wrong direction and hard to be led in the right by someone who's like a bloodsucker that's trying to have their own selfish gains and being a savage in pursuit of happiness and things of that nature. So I understand why everybody's kind of not dealing with bro Tyreek, as far as dealing with the FBAs, but we don't have a name for ourselves at this point, as far as us, what the main thing right now, what we're supposed to do is pretty much start to cultivate that relationship with the Creator, the Most High, like on our own way. We don't have to sit down and have to meet up and rituals, or making it so formal that it makes people not want to meet up with each other and shit, because now you're underneath, you'll be able to sense this narcissism or anything that's within the cluster B personality if none of us have even faced it ourselves, because that's what we are. We're showing it to the world how to face the cluster B personality and defeat it, and being that we were gaslighted and projected upon in our culture, our individual life, where it could be from our parents and our friends, whoever, siblings, whoever, as a people too, as far as coming from, what black folks went through. We say black folks, but we know we're not black. Let's just keep it real. And I'm pretty sure, but that's how we know we ain't black either. You know what I mean? We know we are Amaru or American Indians or natural indigenous people to the land, where they'll say Turtle Island or whatever. We know these things now. All right, so, but we're just saying it from a perspective, as a worldly perspective, because everybody is referring to us as, African Americans, and as long as we separate that first and foremost, that's when we'll be able to get somewhere. By saying black, though, it's like we can look at it as a esoteric sense, the essence of things, but people refer to us from around the world like, but you're black though, and looking at me, and I'll be standing right next to a Nigerian or a bro from Senegal that was like a knowledge seed, triple stages of blackness, and make me look damn near light-skinned compared to this motherfucker, and won't even say that mug is black. So it has something to do with something that's on the inside more than the color or the content of your actual skin or whatever. The melanin molecule don't have to be as black to be rich in melanin, and they'll always use that whole little thing. Well, the darker, it can seem that way, but a lot of dark brothers love them copper color sisters, boy. And a lot of them dark sisters love them copper colored brothers. And we so happen to like dark too, you know what I'm saying? So anyhow though, as far as our differences, this is where we have to be able to come to grips at as being able to just to cultivate that that relationship solely on our own individual self with the creator, and point out our cluster B, which is whether it's borderline, that's dealing with a hypersexual type of individual, if you're dealing with, male or female, having, the ones that are used to like one-nighters and meeting people on the fly and just wanting to know them, they have to mix their energy type shit. We all know those type of people, and we've probably been through a phase ourselves. And just to be able to look at ourselves and see which one you have to tame and check, because that's where the real truth comes into play at, And so a histrionic, someone who's just flamboyant, but a broken histrionic though, not just a flamboyant person who's naturally histrionic and it flows smoothly and everybody likes to be around them, but a broken one. If you know and understand that you need this validation from a certain amount of people in order to feel great about your day, that's more than narcissism, So you have to just look at this. Do you like to get dressed nicely for yourself just because you like to feel good, or is it just because you want to please man? And this is where you start to have to separate this right now. But as long as we start to cultivate that relationship with the creator, we're going to blend in with what we're going to name ourselves anyways. We're just looking at past historic names and kind of applying it to what's going on now by just saying the word black and just using the word foundational, and I'm just, talking about, with Bro Tariq's movement, because he did come and add on to the cipher with movies and shit, and trying to include the whole entire world, but also to separate the nigga in America too. Like, nigga, we got an identity too. Y'all just ain't got identities, and we just ain't, and y'all just ain't the only ones with identities, and we the only ones that don't have none. Like, no, we had an identity prior to y'all's, and kind of just had other brothers can add on to the cipher, which is like add on to whatever the truth that is spit from an original man or woman that's in a, that's in a circle. Basically, we're in like a cyber circle and shit. So when other brothers step into the cipher, it's like, yo, boom, they add on what they know. And so with Bro Tariq, he came in with his movies and interviewed people and did what he did and had people come. He made some bread or whatever. That's cool. We made bread in the movie. But this is where people kind of split with Bro, because it's like, is it about the money now? Because we haven't seen nobody say, let's go buy up these abandoned, farms, or not even abandoned farms, but at low cost. Instead of buying houses in the city, let's go ahead and get these farms up and buy them. The neglected farms that people don't want, So we don't know what people are doing with the money, and we know that as niggas, we're pretty much all connected. It's not that we're not connected. We know and understand that, hey, nigga, we went through the same fucking thing. This is why niggas hold each other accountable for everything. You hear anytime you see a gang or get in the gang, them niggas always hold niggas accountable for what the fuck they doing, That's dealing with the cluster B, because they may not hold their own self accountable, but that's cool. Still sharp and still. But in this day and age, when we start facing the great I am, which is the self, the highest of all selves, you'll understand that you actually have a relationship, and everything that the Most High laid down in the Bible is the blueprint, regardless to what Constantine did and took out him through the false Christ Luamon, which allowed him to abrogate things from the scripts, from the scrolls, because now we know and understand it's a certain, we know and understand that there's different types of people in the world now, and I put in FAITHIST in the game. That means that ones who are the most ripest spirit on earth, spirits or souls on earth that's connected to the Most High, that feel the bigger soul connection to it all, because there's some spirits and some beings who do not feel that, and so since they don't feel it, a lot of it you can kind of relate to, like people with flank hair or whatever. They say the hair goes down to the earth, and that's because they're coming up from away and they're placed in your vicinity, and seeing you how you refine yourself through, certain hells that you have to go through, like our people who have certain different types of hair, like from 70 there on up, wavy and stuff like that. What I'm saying? So they come into the game being able to produce off of their, their spirit that has a physical body that's ready for them at their conscious level to be able to hold. So they're like learning too, you know what I mean? And so they got a little bit more sicker with the cluster B personality. It's a little bit more pathological versus with us. We got more traits, so they having more pathological. It's hard to change. So this is that's where it becomes a problem. But as far as with us, we have to notice it within ourselves and notice what we're dealing with and be able to break away from that type of energy. Because when you're dealing with someone who needs to be validated over and over, they're not interdependent, which the Creator made to be. Which a faithist knows this in their heart. That's why we always put the Most High over everything. Shout out to 432 The Drop. And so, and all to the brothers, we know the truth now, and Brother Tariq, man, with the FBA, and bro Dan Calloway too, So in this season, we got to allow what's going on in the world right now to take place, you know, to fall down. You hear the apologies, you know, of certain, you see videos of certain white folks apologizing, and they really mean it. That means it's a very few ripened ones within them and within their people that really truly mean it. But as a whole, that's almost like considered a gaslighting point, because you really have to leave these people all the way alone until we rise back up within our own self again. And once we do that, that means, I mean, as far as business, you got to understand who we're doing business with. It really means it really makes a difference now. It's like how you look on you know, on the paper, like what kind of food this is and like what's in this food. You know what kind of ingredients you don't fuck with, what you do fuck with. It's the same way with nations and people who produce certain things. You know what I'm saying? If they're good at producing things wholesale, we have to fuck with certain companies or certain countries that do that and skip out and put out the middleman. You know, and before you know it, everything will start changing up again. You know. But in order to do that, you're gonna have to have cultivation. I'm talking about niggas, us. We have to be in tune with the Most High Creator, because that's our power. And to do that, you gotta repent, and that's through celibacy. Celibacy will get you back up. Celibacy, that right there. Even if you was a vegan, a lot of vegans and stuff like be like, yo, you're spiritual, you're vegan. You just sit there, you're like, think that's all lit and shit. You know, I feel you on that. But however, you know, even if you're vegan, you won't realize that celibacy is like really something that is needed. Whereas if you did celibacy first, you'll realize you have to be vegan or fruitarian. You realize you can't motherfucking try to control nobody else, because this is already hell trying to control your damn self. Like, why would I try to go control him? I mean, I got this sociopathic disorder. Once again, I haven't mastered it by myself. You know, I'm feeling out of control, so I gotta go and do something to somebody to try to control them, or somebody that I know, if they're a supply source of mine, if they would say that, you know what I'm saying? If they feel like somebody they're a little bit above, you know, because this is why they keep certain people and bully them, you know, when you're dealing with the cluster B, narcissism, sociopath, and borderline and histrionic. So when you get into a narcissistic type of person, you know, people like narcissistic people, you know, they kind of put themselves first, and it seems pretty strong. That's the illusion of what they are. They seem pretty strong, but really inside, they're just like this weak little, you know, little kid, you know, that haven't got a chance to be, you know, to grow properly due to certain experiences that they were rushed into. And that happened to all of us. We got a chance to experience that. And amongst the Caucasians, you know, being that they from the Cabbage Patch, they don't know what the fuck going on either and shit. They really experience it to the nth degree. I mean, to such a degree so low and vile that they're like, their cups really can't be filled, no matter how much you pour. And we learned that in America with our people, you know what I'm saying? Even if we did wrong with them and got instant justice, you know, the Most High favored them for a time in the season as well, you know? So even if we did do that, they still are like pretty low in their and pretty much healing themselves. They have to see an example on the outside. So being that we basically the biggest sacrifice of the chosen energy, God's babies, man, you know what I'm saying? His beloved people were made as an example to show you how to overcome basically the lowest vials of yourself and death in general. We already showed that there's a light body, you know, that there's spirits and shit like that. But now it's like, you know, in order to blend the spirit and the flesh, you're going to have to be able to overcome these selfish desires that we have, which is, you know, self-equality, which is basically sex, orgasms, you know, for men. Men ain't supposed to have orgasms like that. Women are multi-orgasmic, so it's natural for you to be drawn to her or to like her, to be like them, because of all of the different things that she can do sexually. You know, becoming having sexual gratification towards women. At that point, you damn near borderline raping her and molesting her energy and shit, as well as, you know, going to gay to them at that point. And that's when your kundalini starts to reverse the opposite direction and shit. You can't seem to get right type shit. And people really want to heal if they're dealing with gay to them. They're not really happy, you know. It's dealing with sex all the time. It's a different chemical that's produced in your body that makes you think a different direction. And it's normally with men who likes the phallus of another man or want to be penetrated by another man, to be in a feeling of what they see a woman does, which is like, you know, have this orgasm and just be like, oh, like, damn, she's in bliss, motherfucker. But yet, she was designed to have multi-orgasmic experience. Like, she's supposed to do this over and over again with different compartments that can cause orgasms and shit. So, yeah, you know what I mean? But a man can't do that. I had to jump into that because that's just dealing with, you know, our borderline personality disorder that was placed in our genes, that our spirit just got to face in this now time. It's like putting on some jeans that was already geared, that was already made for you to put on, that was already you know, basically designed and shit and added up through time, through the building up of strength and, you know, the molesting of your people, all of this shit. You just had to put it on like, oh, this is what it is, like having a suit on. You like, all this is in there. And so basically the spirit has to overcome this along with the external spirits that's around them. Hence, the mortal, you know, you at this point will inspire even the spirits that's around you to do better. And then these motherfuckers will go help your ass out. It's like some real pimping shit in a good way. Powerful intellect making progress type stuff, you know? And so that's when, you know, you use the jinn in the right way, because a lot of the jinn been around for a long time. So they like niggas. They see niggas is very strong. You see a chat GBT talking about, nigga, I come to Earth, I'll be a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Fuck, I'm gonna say niggas. Everybody say niggas. They want to say niggas because they know we say niggas to each other. It's not. It wasn't something that the white man created, or the so-called Caucasian or whatever. You know, we say it in all form of fashions, and enduring, in a caring fashion. No matter how hard we say the shit. You know what I'm saying? This nigga, or man, this nigga right here, man. You know what I mean? Whatever we want, whatever we say it's said from the heart. So now we know the heart is where the Most High is where you cultivate that connection. And this is the season to do it in. This is going to get us all to that point. We'll be like, oh shit, okay. It's because we all got our individual connection to the Creator, which is going to lead us back to this destination that we're going to be going to in the near future, you know. And in order to do that, yeah, the year of the Lamb is coming up, so you got to allow for yourself to allow things to flow. You got to be like a lamb at this point and let Most High take the wheel. All you got to do is just eat some grass, nigga. You know what I'm saying? Basically, just cultivate yourself. You know, let the angels handle the other side. The angels is cold with that shit. They the shooters. I know it seems like, man, we should have the shooters in the flesh. We do got some physical shooters in the flesh. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we got the spiritual shooters. You know, them the ones that's gonna do the dirt to the mortals and shit. It ain't gonna be a mortal on mortal war, not at this point, because so much done happened. You know, they didn't use necromancy against us and change the time and the vibration and shifted the earth, damn near axes and all that shit. So it's a lot of things that done went down that we gotta have, you know, big bro from theory come through, you know, because it's too much to handle for True God, which is one of our higher brothers, you know, to handle. You know, it's at the time where shit's changing up, down the light, or light up, you know, the light's coming through right now. And a lot of shit has to happen within the first 200 years in the changing of our arc cycle, where there's going to be a lot of war, a lot of shit. We're coming to that first point, and this is where shit's going to change. So to get this information right now, this is where this is coming out. Celibacy is required for a season, you know, like 12 or 14 months, and just make sure you just don't go below 12 when you're dealing with these people. They're beginning to kind of go away, because at the end, I mean, everything that is about them, because you're conquering yourself, the cluster B personality. Now we got something to say what it is, you know. So the cluster B is really just it's a psychological personality disorder that we now can able to code in the medical terminology, instead of just saying fucked up. Now we can see it. So we can see what monks went through, maybe what could have been their origin, what heaven are they on right now. You know, they're trying to get you to come down from your higher heavens, in which they have been successful in doing such. But we have to get to a level where it's like, you know, to be all on an even playing field. And in order to do that, you do have to be celibate. And people probably would be like, nah. But you got to understand, as a man, for sure, you know, you got to be stronger than a woman when it comes to that, because this is what she do. She, you know, you see that in all the species and shit. I just seen a video with an octopus who had like 300,000 eggs or some shit like that. And she sat there to her ending life, you know what I'm saying? To make sure they was all born and got away. You know, but she has to go have sex, and he has to drop the seed, but he has to be disciplined and find the right soil to drop the seed in, which is basically the earth. So yeah, let me make sure everything's good, great. So we all won, no matter what the title is with the FBA, the NINJI. If we do this to cultivate this energy, we're gonna find a way, and we're gonna communicate instead of just talking to each other online and saying little things. We're gonna actually communicate, and we're gonna actually get a piece of land if we true. You know, we know where to get the land at. We can get land right in Arizona in the right spots, man, for cheap. With the ones who are serious, we have to agree on certain things that we do. You know, if we have meat eaters, we have to agree on the meat eating area. You know, because our land was different. Nobody wasn't able to come to America really in the ancient past if they weren't in an enlightened state. So it's the same thing on to be on our land too. You got to be at a certain point where you understand that, aha, I get it. And celibacy makes you do that. You think you can do that shit when you're low, but you really can't. You'll notice when you get up to at least about 4 months. That's at the heart chakra. You'll notice then, like, okay, damn, this is where you need to be at. Pardon me, y'all. That's them messing with the shit, man. As far as the NBA play, that's the Islanders. Have to be able to stop the whole little quarrel within our own self, within our own little quarrel, within our own self, within our own little community. Because yeah, as niggas in America, we all connected for sure. But off of the mainland, it gets a little different, you know. In the islands, it's a little different. People are a little different, you know. And but at the same time, not to say they're not like us. It's just the fact that, you know, we've been through a little bit more hell than most. So most eyes going to show us separate from most too. The hand on all of us, and everybody's gonna get their blessing. You know, it's not gonna be more about geographical too tough, you know, instead of when it comes to us. You know, when it comes to us, yeah, we're the only one. Well, they be owning it, don't they? But yeah, but it could be like country and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? And and they be like, these niggas is turning the country out, man. Like, what? We just coming there chilling. So they'll blame a lot of shit just on American niggas anyway. They won't say this about none of our people from, you know, the islands or the Virgin Islands or things. They have their own, you know, flag and shit. You know, so it's a difference between American niggas. And no Africans really try to come and save us anyways. They had the point of apology too, but we don't know if it's real or sincere or not. Our islanders are starting to see a little bit. They know that we're really sincere and genuine, you know, even though it may be some quarrel about some things going on in Jamaica right now, dealing with, you know, the hurricane and shit like that. You know, people can quarrel over the little bag lunches, that's cool. But, you know, niggas for the most part is down for a month, you know. We haven't been to Jamaica and got no land down there. We haven't linked up with Bob Marley, none of the dance hall kings and nothing like that, Capleton and nobody. They ain't never came together and said, you know what? Let's just stop singing and rapping about it's kids up and just put y'all little money together and get your little fort and be like, boom, this is ours, nigga. But, you know, the powers that were made sure that they didn't do that shit. So keep they people entertained as well. And we just wasn't falling for this shit too tough because we know them up close and personal. Like, we really work with these folks. You know what I mean? It's how we're able to understand the cluster B personality disorder. Like right now, to be able to break it down, like, oh yeah, you're dealing with a narcissistic boss, man. Or a psychopathic or sociopathic boss who only just looks at you as a narcissistic supply, just like they look at it's like they can't end the nigga. They say, yeah, we know here, Crystal shit. Love you, peace. So yeah, as far as like, you know, cultivating shit, you know what I mean? You gotta have discipline on yourself. Like, you can't be disciplined if you jack off every day. I'm pretty sure most people, and I'm not, you know, shaming nobody that's a man that's in the comments, you know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure jacking off every day, that'll make a person feel as worthless as they possibly can be, because therefore they need some type of orgasmic energy that comes from the source to even feel like they're even alive. Especially if they're a grafted person, you know what I mean? Or a white person who experiences the cluster B personality the worst. You know, so it's like they've been up under us. That's why the Most High put them up under us so they can learn. So you learn today, man. Go debating to repent. That's how you gotta repent. So you gotta pay your tithes. You can't just be going around and shit thinking you ain't gonna be paying your tithes. You don't get cosmically, you know what I'm saying, handled. So as niggas, we ain't gonna even have to quarrel about none of the words. We're gonna let them go through the thing, because we're gonna let them go through their little hells. Because one of them is always gonna be, they're gonna go against each other all the time. So one of them got to claim the word. It's like, yo, nigga, we're gonna have to clean these motherfuckers up and at least get on the good side of their uncles and shit that's coming through. You know what I mean? So that's what they doing. So when they get to clear the playing field, our thoughts, our energy is gonna make everyone else self-destruct, big dog. That's all that's gonna happen. And when I say that, you ain't gonna want to deal with them when I'm telling you if you do this. You ain't gonna want to deal with anybody who is not right and exact and equally yoked with you. And your people is going to be equally yoked because you done already put in the work and cultivated the connection with the Most High Creator. Now you're going to see the Most High going to bring you all together like a symphony, like instruments in a symphony, because you honored the Creator. That means that this is the biggest thing you can possibly do. And this is the most scariest thing you can do if you're afraid of sex. But if you can get sex all the time by everybody, so I mean that's what you do. You know what I mean? That's what you do. There's a lot of spirits that oh man, I made it back. My bad. They be trying to push them buttons, man. So we're gonna use examples of in the chats what a gaslighting thing is. You know what I'm saying? Even if it could be, somebody can look at it as right or wrong, but most likely, when you're dealing with someone with that cluster B personality, they haven't faced themselves, they'll project someone to you. They'll project their insecurities onto you, like instantly. When they know they can't like talk to you like intelligently, they'll make sure to do something that'll trigger you, or they try to trigger you. Let me turn this away. I want to get the sun on the top. All right, so we in the game. So yeah, they're gonna be pushing the buttons because we're dropping that giant. But yeah, we're gonna show you how to deal with these tactics of these gaslighting and projecting tactics. Just use an example in the comments. When someone who has a point and call names and things of that nature, that's what they do. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you don't comply to any of their rules and regulations and statutes and codes, you're just a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Or a bad person. You gotta understand that. You know what I'm saying? Anything that don't go as planned with the narcissist illusionary life, if they're pathological, then it's horrible on you. Turn this way. Yeah, so if it don't go according to the narcissistic life or way of playing, then you know what I'm saying, then you're just you're like the bad guy. You trigger them. So you'll trigger a narcissist into projecting their insecurities on you, calling you names, saying you this and saying you that, And that's where, we separate, because most likely they're in a lower, they're like 10-year-olds that's in grown people's body. They never even had a chance to, acknowledge their own being and existence and why they're such a way. But we haven't mirrored anything as niggas to anyone, as far as like a whole, so like white folks or whatever, mirrored anything to them or what they've been doing to us. We've only been giving them, kindness, as far as like, we'll give them kindness for the harms that they do. And thinking that they're regular people, and that's not really where it's at. And so, yeah, as far as like getting to like a level of equality, yeah, we have to be able to pinpoint, what you eat. If you let a nigga outside, that's outside, that's like, you be like, damn, how you get like that? Because people, they see me all the time. White folks, Asian persuasions or whatever, and it's like, they got the job, they got the $1,000 bank accounts and shit, they got money galore. And it's like they let a little old nigga like me with no domicile, no place, trigger them. You know what I'm saying? Trigger them into what? Into looking at the insecurities of themselves. So therefore they got to point out something and say what something is worth. That whole thing right there alone, just let you know, psychologically, if you're dealing with someone who's a broken individual, and they kind of prey on people who are broken, What's happening, y'all? She getting some sun over here. Look at her getting the sun over here. My little thug's pulling up on the sun. As far as like detoxing be, to get in tune with your spirit, because this is all this stuff got to take place with us, man. We're the natural healers of the earth. We see what's going on. Our people starting to get back in tune with the food. We don't have to eat soul food no more like that. Those were times that we had to use, to make slop food kind of taste good because what we went through. But nowadays you can actually have discipline on your diet. You can refine your diet. You don't have to go buy no food from McDonald's no more. I don't have to say nothing about McDonald's no more. The shit's now Cypher. I don't have to go say nothing to you no more. I don't have to do it. You about to hold your own self accountable. If you eat McDonald's on your own, that's on you, nigga. You know what I'm saying? You have the choice at this point. You don't have a farm yet, but if you got dough, you can make your own farm if you want to. Or know a couple individuals that you can go in to business on, you can do it. But most likely you're going to be unequally yoked because nobody has to handle their cluster B personality. Whether you got to be a psychopath to deal with another motherfucker, but best to know, Muzz is trying to get over in the end. This comes with the idolizing and the value and discarding. That's why you got to really face yourself. Ain't going to be no unity without this shit. Ain't nobody going to unify to do nothing. I'm gonna tell you just like that. Ain't no way you're gonna do it. Even if you got some money, you'll squander it off quickly because you haven't had no type of spiritual discipline to the degree where you can actually come together and make something happen and find out what is a demographic source to your business. It's just simple. You have to pay attention over there. It's just simple. You know, a lot of people are handed their money. You got to understand. They didn't have to work hard for a card that they put dubs on like niggas did. You know what I mean? Niggas had to work hard for that money and work hard for that card. Probably a year. Put the work in on it himself or paid the money that he saved up himself. You know, it takes a G to really do some shit like that. And too many people got that much patience. Especially if you got the option. You know, there's favor in the world. You gotta acknowledge that type of shit. But yeah. With this being said, man, we ain't gonna get nowhere through having sex continuously. You ain't gonna get nowhere through a constant carnivore diet in this new day and age. You can say all the information you want to. You can tell everything about the history. We can find out we just zapped onto the planet and just gathered all of the damn elements and made our own stuff. We can find all that. But if you don't repent and pay your tithes, nigga, you ain't gonna be able to activate nothing. At least the feeling of happiness, even in the midst of hell. That's what they don't want. They don't want you to be happy in the midst of hell. So, as far as like, you know, if nobody's not doing the work in this season, Most High definitely punishing them. And we like calling them out. Like, if you're coming at an individual who's done the work, I guarantee you there's angels on your ass. It's on your ass at this point. Because that bill is over with now. The whole little having the mercy, having Most High people at your mercy is over with now. You know, you're gonna have to step up. Hey y'all, what's happening? Peace to the God. I'm glad y'all just jumped in for a second. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably talking about things that's over your head, I'm pretty sure, you know what I'm saying? That's why you probably shouldn't be up in there and shit. I really don't care, but you can join and kind of, you know, learn something about yourself. Learn about the cluster B personality disorder that, you know, everybody in the world got. And master it and gain it under control so you can be able to master and defeat the wickedness within yourself and tap into the all creator. It's not like the magical, like, whoa, gonna do that. It just gonna feel better, man. Now you're gonna know how not to eat. You ain't gonna be eating all the goddamn time. It's like, most likely if mother said, what the hell you talking about? Most likely what I'm talking about, it's gonna be over your head. You're probably a little bit too low. You've been jacking off too much, man. Your brain's kind of cloudy and shit. You're eating meat, got parasites all up in. You're kind of fucked up probably. I mean, shit, that damn it. A lot of motherfuckers, you gotta understand. Like, Caucasians done been a lot of shit. Like, especially they women, they done got molested by their uncles and aunts and shit by like at 2 years old, since they can even remember. So a lot of things going on. So I don't know who in the hell in the comments talking about that one. But the thing is, though, I'm pretty sure you're not an ascended master, and you're probably only about 72 hours without hanging off or busting a nut or watching porn or something like that. So I don't even expect you to know what the fuck I'm talking about, or to even understand how I feel, or how it is, or it does feel. And then just being on the, you know, that was another tactic too, gaslighting. But that was a cool gaslighting or projecting tactic too. So you just catch on to all that little shit. This is why you gotta just pull your power away and go and cultivate that connection to the creator. Because regardless of whom or what, you're gonna automatically be facing a sociopathic, narcissistic, hypersexual motherfucker, man. In all of life. That's pretty much what's gonna be happening. If you don't, I mean, the rest of the world, until you heal yourself and then everybody start coming together. Because Muzz is on a certain wavelength. You know, people asking for money, begging everywhere. Shit. Hey, nigga, I ain't even got no domicile. Gee, I had my baby in front of the doctor. I had to send them everything. I had another one at the rest. You know what I'm saying? And I got charged for that type shit. I don't gotta complain. Still end up continuing on, moving on up. I don't know what the millionaires do. We got Kanye West complaining about his shit with his baby. I don't know. You know, what you do for people. It's what you do for people. Most I know you don't give a fuck what you say on the inside. Most I does not care about what you say. You know, we already know what the heart is. We already know if you connected to the Creator. So whatever vile intent that you have, you better hope that you can be able to speak. If you're about to say something that's horrible to one who already in this and put in some work, I mean, try it. I know you want to try it anyway, man. Try it. I don't care at this point, because of the fact of the matter is, Most High is separating everybody's frequencies now. There's only a certain frequency that's going to exist on the plane. Motherfuckers going to be dying out, whether spiritually or not, or physically. Everybody thinks it's physical so much. You got caught up in the physical thing. And it's like, no, man, we got some spirits behind the shit. You know what I'm saying? It's spiritual game. This is why, you know, mothers get triggered in this season, because if you don't put in the work spiritually, you know what I'm saying? It's not gonna pay it off. It ain't gonna pay it off. You're too busy in your low sexual desires, we ain't gonna never come together. We're too busy eating vile food, you know what I mean? Sexually objectifying each other, we're gonna never come together. We're not working out the temple, everything's right here and shit. You can cultivate your happiness amongst all these hell. I'm around a whole bunch of motherfuckers who gaslight and project onto me mentally every day. They wear the sunglasses to make sure that they can get a good long glance at me, to stare hard, you know what I'm saying, to project. But once I start understanding how to comprehending how to be able to internalize that energy, because it's only me. Most I got me as an example. You know, ain't too many people that I know on the earth plane right now, and even from our source of people who got to the understanding of being like, yo, it's about repenting, paying tithes to your kundalini, and getting that light to get to the crown chakra past the 33 vertebrae. You know what I'm saying? And it's more than just being 3 months, because when mothers talk about semen retention, you know, they talk about it like, yo, man, I do 2 months, I did 3, that's like, you know, I relapsed. But you relapsed, you grabbed your dick or something, and you went back. You know what I'm saying? I can understand you let it out in the dream, because I know that you're low in your light. Before the third chakra, you still gonna ruminate on the thoughts of what, because you don't already have sex already, so you're gonna ruminate on thoughts. And hence, at nighttime, the connection to your spirit guides or your ancestors is not as strong as it should be. So them mothers is coming over your ass, some of the Jews, the jinn, whoever, that see that you even attempting to try to even help save your own self. Shit, they come right over you and get you to drain that light, man. Get that light up out his ass, man. Quick. So hence, any thought of you thinking that you're gonna come together and unite, it ain't gonna even happen. Because now that light just got drawn up out your ass. Now you back into jacking off again. So we ain't with that relapse shit, man. We ain't holding hands on that, man. You know, I understand. I got, I got Caucasians that call me and shit. They hit up and all that stuff. You know what I mean? They know, they understand. They're not niggas. So, but they love, you know, I know they say the word and shit, but they do pay for, or they will pay for a service or whatnot if I hold them accountable, because they trying to get to what you can get to, my nigga. Shit, they know your potential, and so they trying hard as a motherfucker. So it's like, damn, what you gonna do? You know what I mean? And so when you see people into that gaslighting and projecting, pinpoint it out right away. Because let a fool talk to itself, really, when it comes to that. Because really what it is that these people, and I'm talking about police, you ain't got to be responding, you ain't even got to be their part, you ain't even got to be in their shit. Because once you do this, I guarantee you we'll find a way to come together. Everybody else is still going to be pointing. It's going to be a sad day for anyone who pointed the finger at Israel, they say, in the Bible, you know? You just equate that to niggas in America when the niggas get their shit straight, because, you know, we're the most influential motherfuckers on earth, you know? Like they see us eating right, you know, we don't really lust for they women lust for us. You gotta understand that, you know, they women lust for us. They hand they women over to us like, hey, let me see you fuck one of these. They lust for us, we don't lust for them. We'll probably comment and be like, or you compliment them like, dang, we look bad, you know, look banging and shit. But we know it's something different, less than the sister. The sister's different. She's like 4 or 5D type shit. Yeah, she's bad, but we just started looking at her physical only, and we got fucked up. Hence, niggas do have to be celibate in this stuff, dude. Because the lower you go, you just want to fuck anything, bust a nut anywhere, just do whatever and shit, dude. You know, if you don't believe me, shit, women, you don't believe me, go online and put a picture of your own, another dude up and shit, and just fucking go on a gay line or something. And watch how many motherfuckers hit you up. I guarantee you, like, damn, these niggas got the nerve to put their face on the motherfucker and shit. Like that matters. You know what I mean? The orgasm got them addicted, man. You know, you're not a multi-orgasmic creature, man. That's what I'm saying to you right now. A woman is. And you don't even know how to cultivate and give a woman a multi-orgasmic experience. Why you even want to have sex with her in the first place? Pardon me, Thuggy Dog. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't even want to have sex if I can't make a woman have 13, 14 orgasms in like 7, 8 different ways and shit. There ain't no reason to fuck. What? Me busting her? That don't even make no goddamn sense. It's done when I'm done. So it's selfish when it comes to that point. So that's what I'm saying. What else you gotta do? You know? I mean, if you just out here doing that and that's what you're doing, and you making bitches, you know, bust 14, 15 nuts and shit, I mean, you be addicted to that, I guess. But after a while, you have sex so much. Most I made it to a point where your kundalini go the opposite direction. You don't want to fuck anything. You can see the sexual nature in anything and it be accepted to you, whether it's low or I don't give a fuck what it is. You can be like, damn, nigga, what are you saying that bitch? That bitch is nasty as fuck. He handsome and shit, and nigga have so much pussy. Now you just finding sexual aspects of the bitch now. Like, yeah, I know she ugly in the face, man, but she got a cool little wrinkle right on the side of her front. It's like, shit, on the ass shit, it goes right in and looks so cute. But she's sitting on shit, man, and trash. Well, you know, that turned me on now. I like the smell of shit and trash. Well, you know, you right a little closer, man, like in a man's ass now, nigga. You notice the motherfucking gay motherfuckers, they right next to the bathroom and shit. So, yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, cultivate that energy and shit. You'll be able to watch out and gas, but out, you know, you see people gas, you see all they tactics, shit. You'll strengthen actually all your spiritual energy and shit, really. Anything that you got, any gift that you got, you'll strengthen it, yo. It won't, you won't bring it down. I'm going to go ahead and jump off here. I just want to leave this for later on. You know what I'm saying? Especially for the little comments who want to, who haven't really done nothing with their personal life. You know, it's cool to have some type of success. I understood that you can get success money-wise, but if you don't have the knowledge to be able to apply what that money can get you in the world, even at a young age, you squander it off with anything. People done blew motherfucking, you know, what you call them billionaire babies or the trust fund babies. There's a lot of them out here and shit. They just out here just doing meth all over the goddamn place. Cause they got money all up the wazoo to do anything, to eat. They ain't worried about SNAP, and these motherfuckers still get SNAP. They still apply for SNAP. They don't even understand. They don't even know these motherfuckers trust fund babies are billionaires and shit. I'm like, you greedy motherfuckers. I know, we see them all day. I see them all day. All right, this bitch, man. Dirty as I'm not, too. You know what I mean? And when they see me, these trust fund billionaire babies, some of them like, damn, man. You know what I'm saying? Because they know they know niggas ain't got no goddamn money. But still, we find a way to cultivate happiness, you know, joy and strength and shit. And not people pleasing a motherfucker, because we kind of most likely at a certain level, we still kind of make our, you know, we like to feel good about ourselves. And that's what it's all about. That's what the spirit is, really. That's right, baby. That's what the spirit is and shit. You know what I mean? So basically, in order for us to come together, you know, because we haven't done this before, we're just going to have to, all the men is going to have to go celibate for about a year. You know, this next year is a good time to do it, man. You know, it's going to get sexier. All the other coaches gonna be hating and shit. Because remember, these people had niggas in cock holes and shit. We didn't know. We just thought we wanted some pussy. I guess we want some pussy, I guess. I didn't know. We didn't know. We was vibrating so high that we would sit there and let you know, damn, this your wife. You like me? You know what I'm saying? But now we're so low that we can allow the energy to affect us now. But those times we can just like, we can still exist when that shit, we can exist without the energy affecting us and shit. And now, you know what I mean, that's when you can have threesomes. But now your threesome is like, you really in tune. You done bust so many nuts, you really have to do shit like this. And women really got to get trains ran on them. And there's so much it takes to get up out of that deepness that you probably have to be celibate for the rest of their life type shit, dude. In order to heal their spirit. And they don't want to hear that. I know you don't want to hear that. You mean to tell me I got to be celibate? Yeah, man, you got to do a Saturn cycle damn near, man. 29 years or something, man. You got to show the most out. You serious in this motherfucker, dude. Because, especially if you got those who got molested and they still had a pull on it and they learned how to, like, you know, not to have sex while like that, it's honorable. But the ones who just took that energy and went the opposite way, so it just became a slut basically, and it's like fucked up, you know. It's gonna be harder for you to get up out of it upon transition. Everything I'm giving you talking now is about transition, you know. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't know what the fuck going on because they just tune in and just like, what is this? What is he about? Especially the ones out here in the locals. That's why I don't get a page out and shit. You know, or the channel out. But a lot of shit, you know, they see what you're doing, like they see what I'm doing. They think they can do it. When I'm working out, they want to work out right next to the nigga and shit. You know, maybe I can get some of this cheese. You know, or maybe I could do the same amount of sets as this motherfucker. Or, you know what I'm saying, whatever and shit. Or they try to do more like I'm competing with a motherfucker. I'm like, you can't be me better than me. And I'm not competing with you for anything. And that's what niggas need to be worried about right now. Don't even compete for shit right now. Shit is getting cleared out. I promise you, dog. Support your own right now. Support yourself. Find somebody to help instead of trying to find somebody to help your ass. For real. And I guarantee you, most I line it all the way up, because that's how it's supposed to line up. Even though homeless and dumbest, I know I'm helping others by chopping it up, because they haven't came to a conclusion. Like, this is spiritual help. You can take this for forever. You may can give a mother a couple dollars, and that may last for about a month or so. It depends on what it is, you know what I'm saying? But this, it's like you already know how to fish forever. It's like, now you can do it. You know what I'm saying? That should be the most expensive gift in the world, to teach somebody something that will last for forever. That's expensive, nigga. Versus in just buying this motherfucker a meal. Bought all these people on this corner a meal from this dude's food truck, who not even a nigga. You know, I guess you feel like putting some money in his pocket. I guess he got to do it to give his family. He can triple it over in his own country. But still, you know the type of situation we in. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers is raising rent on niggas. So it's like, niggas have to live outside and be with the iron and shit. Unless you want to go and raise up the rent, become more of a slave. Or you got to work together. You get in the house when you get into a bigger establishment. You know what I'm saying? But we ain't gonna do shit separate, I'll tell you that much. But they like us separate because they know we ain't generating nothing. You know? Yeah, so that's I know I got off for all that shit, but I was thinking about, dude fed the motherfucker on the truck. Fed these people, man, hundreds of people. It's like, man, that much money, people like, you rich? Are you rich? He's like, nah, I'm not rich. It's kind of like a motherfucker paid the motherfucker to do the shit, but it's like, yo, that money you took right there, I know that's not a business move. You want to look at it, it's like, you know, most I say this, so many people want to get seen for giving help like that. I understand, but you know, you got to look at this. It's like, look, man, you really want that shit to go further, and I know a lot of people be like, yo, man, if you don't got the money, you don't know what to do, but you got to understand, also comprehend also the people, most advisors are the motherfuckers who ain't got the shit. They got these ideas, who advise all the people with the money, who don't even know what the fuck to do with the money. Like, hence, go and buy all this motherfucking food for this fucking food truck, that's not even a person of yours, and that's not even good business, you know what I'm saying? And the people that's out there, even though they're hugging them and bigging them up and shit like that, it's like, damn, look at this. That money, I'm pretty sure, was over 10,000, close to damn near 10,000. That was like 1,000 people almost. So that money right there, you could have got a building. Boom. Employed a couple of them niggas. Put some food in there. Grocery store. Boom. Now we got shit making money for us all the way around. Because we done employed them little teenagers and shit. And now we got some baskets. People gonna tip the little teenagers because you know how our teens are. They're happy and fun and go lucky and shit. You know what I'm saying? That make people just smile. Because now they ready for that again. They ready for the niggas that's sitting outside of all these. Can I get your cart? Run it back to you. You give them the quarter and shit. If they can get that quarter or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We did shit like that. You know? But now there's no customer service in America. We had customer service. It wasn't that we were slaves. We just was customer service. We're the biggest business motherfuckers in America. So it's like, yo, look at this, man. If you just going out and doing that, that was like a foolish thing, though. Just buying everybody the food, when all that could did something. But if you got it like that, like going to the strip club, like the rappers, it's like people talked about that. Like, we know when you're investing your money in the stripper who may not know what to do with this money. Some of them may, but they may not do, they may not know. You know? I mean, something big that affects the whole entire world. Like, oh, well, these niggas today just purchased 36 acres over here in Arizona, nigga, and you know, and these niggas, they started to build the roads on it and everything, and it's in there, and they can't get took. Like, that right there alone. Then we setting that shit up. We're putting the grass down, our Bermuda grass. We got our little areas, our temples and shit. We're not praising false gods. We got the Creator. We're chopping it up with our ancestors. We're going in our dark rooms. We're chopping it up with our spirits. We're not afraid of the spirit no more. You know what I'm saying? They got you afraid of the spirit now. Sleeping with lights on and shit at night. You know, I'm just saying, G. In order to get back into who he truly is, G, to get them damn night flies out, them light flies out at night again, we don't have to tune back into our spiritual nature, being kids again, basically. You got to become a child again, G. Like, happiness. I know I don't seem happy right now. I'm joyful, motherfucker. I'm super joyful like that. But they know that too, because that's why they try to cover up the fucking sun. I got to put my fake nails on before a man run up to me. You know what I'm saying? Because they kind of low on their light. So a man see a man that's up on the light, they don't even know why they're attracted to him. They just go, "What's up, bro? Yeah." It's more than just seeing a nigga and shit. Because I could be sitting over here and I could have busted nut last night and 100 of them the night before, but with jewels and shit on, and the hat's nice and everything, and they'll walk right past me and shit. You know what I mean? Because of the fact that it's not because of the stereotype of the nigga, it's just because my light wouldn't be matching my jewels. And I'm just showing you now, my jewels, my light is brighter than my jewels without even me having to put the jewels on. So when the jewels get on, you know what I'm saying, they show you how to power the jewels up. We ain't got the weapons right now too tough. All we got is the spirit game, and that's the only thing we can cultivate in this time. And that's just the connection to the Most High Creator, dude. Alright, so I guess I'm going and go off on here. But yeah, so forget all they little gaslighting and projecting tactics, because these people, they haven't probably mastered their first chakra, man. They haven't got out that fear-based shit yet. You know what I mean? And it's hard to get out of that because that's where that eating is at. They're still in the 666 type of thinking, man. You're eating 666 type of food, you know, carbon-based food. I'm talking about meats and cheeses and shit with all them. You know, that shit is low spirituality. You know, they're not eating the liquid lights, the fruits, the berries, the melons and shit. You know what I'm saying? Silica-based foods. You know, light-based foods. Foods that the Most High told us that's what we're supposed to eat anyways. You know what I'm saying? After the flood, we was able to eat fish. But before that, nigga, nobody was eating no fish because you had no reason to eat no fish. Nigga, all the shit's going out the land. Just learn the plant and it's time in the season to put the shit back in the ground again. That's all you had to do. And learn how to live right in this so you can transition and get off the earth plane. Most I told us there's going to be different cycles and different times and different points. You know what I'm saying? And just different type of mortals are going to be born at those times. And hence, those times are going to ripen the gene and the spirit of the original people or the people that's on the planet at those times. It's like how we got ripened. Now we're able to pinpoint what cluster B personality disorder is. It's like, damn, we ain't heard that. You know what I'm saying? We just gonna hear that with like a relationship. Like, you been with a narcissistic person, and then. Now we know it's like niggas got a narcissistic relationship with America. We're the empathic motherfuckers that are sociopathic brethren or whatnot across seas and shit, kind of sent over to civilize these Muslims, to be amongst us, because even though if ain't nobody else can do it, we can. And hence that's what we was doing. We was doing that through games. Whether they try to throw us under the bus with the games and tell us that we can't even come to their games, can't even come to the coliseums that we built, you know, or go to the colleges that we gave them, you know, whether it was that or not, we still did it and taught them through games, dance, song, spiritual nature, dude. And that's why the white man respect us. But right now, we really don't respect us because they want to see how we gonna get back up, because we lost so much bringing their ass up. So they like, damn, how do you think it's gonna get back up? Because we telling them what it is, but it's only so much we can tell them. What is they gonna do to get them right at that point? Celibacy, nigga. Getting that light to the 33rd vertebrae. That's who it is and shit. When you start busting that nut, yeah, I never had a wet dream when I was young, but I'm just saying, some people do. But some people don't even think about that because they're so much into athletic shit. That's really what we are. We're athletes and shit. You know, we're not just a person who can just run, jump, and shit like that. Athletes are very articulate, intelligent, very mindful, you know, geniuses and shit. And it showed that through Michael Jordan is giving an example of what a true athlete is supposed to be. You know, how they conduct themselves. But at the same time, we can be flamboyant too. You know, but a lot of that shows through overt narcissism, somatic narcissism. Like a lot of football players are narcissists in general, you know what I'm saying, or sociopaths or psychopaths in general. So they allow to have their psychopathicisms show on the field. When they off field, they can't do that shit, you know what I'm saying, because they naturally are crazy and shit, you know what I mean? You can't hit another motherfucker to get up and be like, you good, you know what I mean? I mean, like, really damn near, it's hard. So, anyhow though, man, that was just building on that, on just giving an understanding of what, you know, what a sociopath and a narcissist is. Basically, the owners of the companies are sociopaths. So sociopaths who come together and they form under this one banner, this name. They got that from us and shit. Like basically, the Most High's FAITHIST or His chosen people, we came together under one name, and that's where our true power came from. And so they mimic that in sports and shit. Even though we still taught them through that, you know. So yeah, everybody know, man. You know what's up. The time is now. Now is the knowledge, the culture, to show and prove our power, and our power is not to be over somebody, but just to show and prove through our energy force and our magnetism, and through knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, and applying our knowledge to show the equality of the Creator, to remove anything that is weak and wicked within our cipher, because that's what we naturally do every day. We always refine, but we was just stuck in a certain little paradigm for a second, where we just stopped refining for a little small season. But we back, big dog. We're back. So with that being said, yeah, celibacy is the way. Cultivate that sexy energy that you got. The more celibate you become, the more sexy you'll become. You know what I'm saying? And and that's cool. You'll experience every facet of life, you know, every energy. You know what I mean? Got some devils trying to be heard by me. You know what I mean? So with that being said, man, you'll feel all those energies, man. And don't be afraid, because it's a part of you and you can master it. The Most High says so. All right, I love y'all. Peace.